Right, so we're going to circle back now to something that I promised that we would do, and someone told us off for not doing a deep dive into it.
Oh,
If you
excellent. We're going to
recall,
talk about Purple Dragon Knights and bannerets. No?
we are not going to talk about Purple Dragon. I mean, you're welcome to talk about Purple Dragon Knights if you wish, but that's not what I had in mind.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
Well, I think
Do you recall? A few weeks ago, we reported briefly that the Mutants and Masterminds playtest for 4th edition was out. I mean, it had literally been made available like that day. And we basically said, this thing is out. Don't know much about it. You can go and download it. It will cost you this much. That was basically all we were really able to say at the time.
Yeah.
We did get told off. We did get told off for not having presented a massive and in-depth comparison about the differences between 3E and 4E.
I do wonder who is doing these comments. Like, I mean, just like, no offense, but surely our regular listeners / viewers know this is a general news podcast. Like we talk about a lot of stuff. Like,
yeah,
and there is literally so much stuff to, even with 3 people who have like a wide range of interests between us, we cannot keep up and cannot know it all.
Yeah. Well, I've got some bad news for that person, because this is not going to be an in-depth comparison between 3rd edition and 4th edition. No. Because I haven't played 3rd edition, so I wouldn't know. But I have played 4th edition now.
In fact, I think you ran 4th edition.
I ran 4th edition, the playtest, on Wednesday night.
Nice.
And I thought I'd quickly do a kind of post-session report. Now, this is not going to be an in-depth look at the system and the changes. I had a million different podcasts, news articles, blogs, YouTubes out there. If that's what you want, it's out there. Go and knock yourself out. That's not what this is. This is just going to be a sort of brief kind of report on my experience of running it the other day.
All right, fully caveated. Tell us all about it.
So bear in mind, I've only played Mutants and Masterminds once before. This was probably 15 plus years ago. It would have been Mutants and Masterminds 1st edition. Barely remember it. Basically, that edition of Mutants and Masterminds was spun off the D&D 3E, the D20 rule set.
Wow. Okay.
At the time, I mean, it very, very heavily changed. When I say spun off, it's a lot more heavily. It doesn't have classes and levels, and it's
like
very different.
Like Adventures in Middle-earth uses the 5th edition rule set because people.
I would say even more so than Adventures in Middle-earth.
Yeah, and then warping it beyond all recognition. I mean, it's at this sort of point that if I turn up to
it's still the D20 system. You still roll a D20, add your modifier, apply it to a target. You still roll initiative at the start of combat. You still, all this sort of stuff is still there. Yeah, you're still rolling against someone's armor class. They just don't call it armor class. You're still getting feats. They just call them things like advantages and things. So it's, there's a lot of familiar structure there. It doesn't have hit points, notably, but there's a lot of familiar structure there.
All right, cool.
Oh, that confused the hell out of us, and I got to say in advance, we did it wrong. We did it really, really wrong. There was a lot of us playing this game and going, we're missing something. This isn't working how we think it should work. What are we missing? And we realised near the end of the sort of 3-hour session that we've been doing some fundamental things completely wrong with regards to damage. And how characters took damage. Like, completely wrong. But hey, that's, you live and you learn, and that's, I learn by doing rather than by reading. So, I now know that because I did it. You see, I made that mistake and now it's in there. Locked in my brain.
About 1st edition. So this is 4th edition.
4th edition, the other night, yeah.
Oh, you made these mistakes about 4th edition?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So, it was interesting because the way I was kind of treating it like a quick start. I was like, right, I've got this playtest document.
Yeah.
It cost me, $18, I think it was. I can't remember, for the PDF. Yeah. Didn't have a physical hard copy because they're not out yet. Because there was some kind of printer issue, I think, that was supposed to come out at Gen Con and didn't, or something like that. But anyway, just had the PDF. which wasn't an ideal start for me because that's quite, flipping through sharing and flipping through a PDF on at a busy game table is more difficult.
Oh,
but hey, and I'm not going to, while I don't mind if people do that with my books, I'm not going to just send copies of the PDF to all the players because I don't feel I have permission to do that. But you do have permission to do that with my books if you're running a game, by the way. Or print them out or whatever. But anyway, so I was treating it as a quick start, and I would say it is absolutely not suited for that.
Right.
That is not what it's for. It is for people who played 3rd edition, the previous edition, and are playtesting 4th edition. Very clearly, it is not designed as a quick start for someone coming new to the game. Don't buy it if that is what you're after.
Okay, I mean, it does say it's a playtest rather than a quick start, but I am sort of
exactly. That's not a criticism in any way.
No. I mean, but I would also have had sort of that expectation that if I'm buying a playtest, that it will teach me how to play the game.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a player's handbook basically for the game. So it does teach you how to really play the game, but not all of the game, not the sort of DM side of it. Well, some of the DM side of it. Anyway, right, let me get into it.
Sorry,
I was just trying to contextualize it, so you see where my approach is coming from and why I had the experience that I had. And I want, because I don't want it to feel like, because it's going to be a little negative, unfortunately. But I don't want to feel that's the fault of the playtest. It's because I was using a hammer to do the job of a saw. I was using the wrong tool. This is not a quick start. It wasn't really aimed at me. It was aimed at people who know how to play Mutants and Masterminds and are playtesting the next edition. And that's where some of my difficulties came in. I mean, the first difficulty I ran into immediately is that there is no adventure in there. No adventure at all. So I was like, okay, what do I do now?
That surprises me as a playtest, but anyway, okay.
Yeah. So I had to hunt around, and it took me quite a bit of hunting to find, because I didn't want to buy an adventure after having just bought a playtest. That was just, that was too much for me. So I was looking for a free one, and I did find, and it took a bit of hunting because it wasn't that obvious. Green Ronin did have a couple of free Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition adventures. Not 4th edition ones, 3rd edition adventures. One was a Christmas themed one, and one was a Halloween themed one. So I went with the Halloween themed one, which is this one, Monster Mashup. Yeah, Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. So I decided to run that. I mean, it's a 3rd edition adventure, so already I'm running into trouble because I'm looking at stat blocks and they don't match what's in the 4th edition book, and therefore I'm having to convert them myself without really understanding how 3rd edition works, let alone how 4th edition works. So this is the obstacle. Second obstacle. First obstacle was there's no adventure. Second obstacle, I'll buy an adventure. Well, got a free adventure, but it's for 3rd edition, and I'm now having to convert it despite not knowing how to play the game. So as you see, it's not.
I feel like we gave Jessica like a 2nd edition classic adventure and said, "Oh yeah, just run this in 5e." There'd probably be a similar clash of cultures and expectations.
I mean, I'd be able to do that. I'd be able to do that off the top of my head, but I'm familiar with D&D. I'm not familiar with Mutants and Mastermind. That's the difference.
It would be a clear, I made stuff up opposed to an accurate conversion to 5e if I was running from 2e to 5e.
Yeah.
But I very much do my own thing with adventures anyway. I'm like, this is a jumping off point.
Yeah. So that was obstacle number 2. Obstacle number 1, no adventure. Obstacle number 2, the adventure, get an adventure, but it's only for 3rd edition. Obstacle number 3, then you look at the stat blocks in the book. Use the stat block for the police officer, Mutants and Masterminds Game Master's Guide, page 141. By that, it means Mutants and Masterminds Game Master's Guide for 3rd edition. I've got to now buy another book.
Right.
Just to get the stat blocks for this adventure that I've had to get in order to run this playtest. Okay. I now have to get the 3rd edition Mutants and Masterminds rulebook to get the stat blocks for the police officer that it's told me to refer to.
What? How? Sorry, I'm just being... Okay, so the playtest is basically like a playtested player's handbook rather than having
for
anything to actually play test. Is that
yes, yeah, it's a playtest for basically the player's handbook for Mutants and Mastermind, the hero's handbook.
right? Okay.
So I get where they're coming from.
Rather you than me, Russ, is what I have to say. Because my goodness,
Yeah, and
that sounds fun.
as you can see, so basically, I'd be trying to run this third edition adventure. This sounds so critical, and I don't mean it to be.
Yeah.
I totally get that I am using it for a purpose it was not designed for. I get it.
Yeah.
It's and this is not a criticism. I'm just trying to describe my experience. That's all. As an entertaining anecdote, rather than a criticism of the game.
This is the car crash that I was in. Would you like to hear more about it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a crunchy game. It is more crunchy than I thought it would be. It's definitely way more crunchy than D&D 5e. I mean, if you just look at this sort of reference here, which is basically Filmland figments, which are some monsters that are in this adventure. This adventure had sort of some creatures coming from the celluloid screen, stepping out of a cinema screen and then fighting the heroes.
Yeah.
They're called Filmland figments.
Yeah, sort of a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but I don't know, more Cthulhu-esque.
So it looks like they're saying use the stat block for the police officer on this, but then I can see at least 8 amendments for it. It's like, but these additional things are also available.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 changes there.
And
each of those changes has parenthesis with 1 to 3 additional notes. Yeah. So that's 20 odd things on that, crammed into that little thing there, with which you have to amend the police officer stat block.
Looking at this adventure, I'd kind of want to put the Filmland figments in as a stat block on their own.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me being lazy.
If you're going to make all these, I mean, I guess it's for reason of space, but
I guess, yeah.
I hate this layout, but I guess if you're, maybe it's just a convention that they've come up with. But it says a lot, and I keep on trying to read it and bouncing off.
There's a lot of content there crammed into a small amount of space, and each of those things you kind of have to look up themselves.
Or no.
I mean, strangulation +3, open brackets, close, comma, damage 2, comma, fast grab, comma, improved hold, close brackets. So you've got to know what all those things mean. So I assume if you're playing the game
from the noose, which for me, I would think that would be strangulation. That's a ranged snare 3.
Yeah. So you've got to look up each of these things. So basically, the players had character sheets. There were 14 or 15 archetypes in the playtest book. There was like the blaster and the mentalist and the I can't remember the others. A martial artist. A power suit.
Are these the same things as pre-gens?
They're pretty much pre-gens, yeah. Okay. So they're pre-generated characters without names, just sort of like, this is the blaster, you call it what you want. And a little section at the bottom with notes on how you can change it, customize it if you want. But otherwise you can just use it as it is. But basically it is a fairly dense amount of information, which, every entry on it is something you have to look up. It's very rules crunchy in that sense. So you've got on that character sheet, you've got sort of like 15 to 20 things you need to look up to know what that means or what that does.
I mean, this feels like the sort of thing that hypertext was invented for. You know what I mean? Like web pages or like even tooltips. You go over, it gives you a tooltip for everyone. Yeah. Not readily available in dead tree format though.
So I mean, if you're comfortable with a rules heavy game and you've had and you're familiar with like the game itself, you probably look at that stat block and it's really easy. You know what fast grab and improved hold are, and what damage 5 means, or what range snare 3 means, all that sort of stuff. You know how it works. You know what hindered, stunning, dying, resisted by fortitude means. You don't have to look it up.
Or at least you know where to look it up in the book.
Yeah.
You might even have a sticky note to help you.
So Yeah, so that was an obstacle that we ran into, that we constantly had to look every single thing up, and that was just a rules familiarity thing. Obviously, if we played a lot of Mutants and Masterminds, obviously we would know what all those things meant or where to find them. It would be a lot faster and smoother. So again, that's not really a criticism; it's just explaining the experience that we had. And one of the things that we did is we completely got how damage works wrong.
Oh.
Completely. So in the book, my first impression of it was there was this sort of diagram where it sort of said you go from hit to, I think it was staggered to incapacitated.
Okay.
Right.
So far, that sounds kind of Savage Worldsy to me.
Yeah.
As in, you've got like different levels of damage, and presumably these give you minor debuffs. Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Correct.
this is our bad, because we didn't read it. Well, I didn't read it. I was running the game. My fault. Didn't read it properly. So I was running it so that you get hit, and if you get hit again, you're staggered. If you get hit again, you're incapacitated. It's totally wrong.
Okay.
Totally wrong.
Oh.
We realised in the last half of the last fight, when basically one of the characters, the martial artist, was just completely ineffective.
Right. Yeah.
And we were trying to work. That's why we were thinking we're doing something wrong. There's no way one of the pre-gens in this thing would be so utterly ineffective. We're doing it wrong.
Wow.
What are we doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And then we figured it out. Is that you don't just like go from one to the next to the next. It has this degrees of success thing. So for every 5 points by which you exceed a damage sort of threshold, you take the more serious one along. But you can take each one multiple times. So you could have like 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah.
But 2 hits doesn't mean you're staggered. It means you've got 2 hits, which stack on each other, sort of thing. So that's what we were doing wrong. And once we realised that, the martial artist suddenly, it was like, oh, now I get it. Okay, so the martial artist now is able to affect things. Okay, fine. So that was kind of the experience we had. I mean, we enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, we enjoyed it. I think we had fun. It was, I had to wing quite a lot of it. It's a very, very complex game in a 3-hour one shot in a busy environment. There was no way we were going to delve into every single rule in the book. So a lot of it I winged, or just drew on sort of GMing experience to wing and assume I knew how certain things. Obviously, it goes initiative +2 on someone's stat block. You know how that works. I don't have to look it up. But then again, that's what I thought about the damage. Oh, I know how that works. I have to look that up. No, I was wrong. I did have to look that up. So assumptions and all that.
It feels like it was like quite something that was quite attractive to you as a concept.
Yeah.
You do at some level want to do superhero gaming.
Yeah. But I'm not saying I wouldn't use Mutants and Mastermind. What I would say, I would not use this playtest document as a quick start. That's all I'm saying. It's not what it's designed for, and that's what we tried to do, and it didn't really work in that sense.
So really,
in hindsight, that's pretty obvious. But to be fair, I cannot say that I would not have made the same incorrect assumptions that you did, that there would be a quick start, that there would be adventure.
See what Mutants and Masterminds needs a starter box. It really does. I'd play the hell out of that.
I'm sure they have one for 3rd edition. I'm sure they do.
I think they have. I think they might have a quick start. I don't think they've got a starter box.
So I guess the summary for this is, if you're looking to get into Mutants and Masterminds, the place to jump in is not this 4E playtest. Either jump in to the 3rd edition quick start to try that out, or wait until 4th edition is out proper for it.
But one of the other problems we have is very much a referential game, where you look up one thing and it will refer you to 2 other things, and you go to those things and they'll refer you to something else. And we notice that particularly in the conditions. It'll be like, someone who is staggered is, I mean, I'm making these up now because I can't remember the exact details, but someone who is staggered is hindered and stunned. Oh, okay. So now I have to look up hindered and stunned, and I go to hindered, and he goes, someone who is hindered is restrained. I'm exaggerating it slightly there for comedic effect, but and that's not the exact right details. It's just But that's kind of the problem that we kept running into, an awful lot of referring you elsewhere rather than having. Whereas in 5e, which I do appreciate, is you look at any condition and it's some bullet points, and that's everything you need to know about the condition is right there. That I liked. about 5e.
Yeah. And even that has some bits and bobs which often need like a little bit of elucidation. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think, with the playtest document not having any monsters in it, not having a adventure with it, we kind of set up to fail in the first place. We weren't prepared for it. We were using the wrong tool for the wrong job. But I will say, I didn't dislike it. Don't get me wrong, I didn't dislike it. I think if they put out a starter box or something, I'll buy it and I'll play it. I will.
So it was a bit of a ropey, rough ride, but you're not put off the system. You can see that there's a lot to learn, and it's got something that appeals to you on a fundamental level. You're like, okay, I like a
crunchy system. I like a crunchy system. It is a lot more crunchy than 5e.
Yeah.
Like if you're a person that thinks 5e is quite crunchy, and you're looking for something simpler, steer clear of this. If you're like me and you quite like a bit of crunch, then maybe take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly lighter superhero systems. I mean, Steve Kenson, who makes Mutants and Mastermind, also makes Icons, which is a much lighter superhero system. So he's got you covered both ways. Or you've got the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game system, which is out now.
Projects, but I mean, like I've probably got like 2-3 books myself of like things I first said, I should run superheroes before realizing I don't actually enjoy running superhero games.
Well, the thing for me, and I've said this quite a few times, superhero games for me don't work as a campaign. They work as a one-shot or for a mini campaign. An adventure. But it's a dip in.
The more you think it's more suited for film level experience than a mini series or like a TV style thing.
No, I'd say more like a cartoon episode.
Okay, fair enough.
An episode of The Amazing Spider-Man or the X-Men or something like that. That's kind of my ideal dip in and dip out of Mutants and Masterminds or superhero gaming in general. I would do sort of like a 2 to 3 episode arc or something, but I don't think I'd do sort of like a 6-month game like you do with D&D. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Or Pathfinder, yeah. And partly because the superhero genre isn't really about sort of like zero to hero advancement, which admittedly a lot of other role-playing games aren't either. Call of Cthulhu isn't either. Lots and lots aren't. But
you start at the bottom and you stay there. That's the Call of Cthulhu way.
Yeah. Whereas with Mutants Masterminds, you selected your power level for the setting, whether it's power level 10. That's the power level you're going to be. You're not going to go from a peasant to a superhero like you do in D&D. You're setting it at power level 7, you're going to be power level 7 sort of thing.
So you start off as Hawkeye, you stay as Hawkeye, you start off as 4, you stay as 4, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's like obviously room within that bracket, but very little social mobility between brackets.
Yeah, I mean you do improve within that. You earn power points and you can spend those power points on stuff. But it's not enough to sort of take you up in the way that D&D does.
Understood. Yeah.
But that makes sense within the genre. You don't see Superman leveling up, really, do you? He's always basically the same power level,
Which is
sometimes emotionally.
I guess.
Yeah. I think you're doing a different experience. It's not so much the power fantasy that is classed as heroic fantasy with the D20 games. It's more about the stories that you're telling and the hard ethical choices, which I know it sounds very knobby of me, but it's actually why I quite enjoy some comics. It's like I'm actually there because I really like the moral and ethical dilemmas and like trying to find the right path in a difficult situation is something that I find very interesting.
Exactly. You have all the power. How are you going to wield it? And how are you going to deal with those consequences?
If Superman can fight the problem, Superman wins. It's like, how does Superman resolve the situation without the use of power over?
Or you could just watch the latest Superman film where everyone can beat Superman up, including his own dog.
Oh damn! Wow. Okay.
He's basically like, I don't know, he's reminds me of Rocky, like Rocky just keeps getting beaten up, but he just keeps going and wins at the end. That's kind of what Superman does in the latest Superman film.
Okay, so he's not going full Worf, which was always a bit of a joke. And Alien turns up, all right, oh, how tough is it? Well, it's just decked Worf in one shot. Worf always gets decked in one shot.
Yeah.
He never has a chance to show he's tough.
The Marvel films had the same problem with the Hulk as well. They just had everyone beating the Hulk up. Like Iron Man beat the Hulk up and Thanos beat the Hulk up. And it's like every time you want to show someone's tough, have them beat the Hulk up. And it's like, but can't the Hulk beat someone up for once?
I mean, he gave Loki a beating, but...
That's true. And that was funny.
Yeah.
That was an iconic beating. Yeah. That was one iconic beating. I approved of that immensely. Yeah. Puny God. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Right. So that was Mutants and Masterminds playtest report, as it was. I mean, like I said, it's not a deep dive into the system. It was a 3-hour playtest of it, treating it as a quick start. Kind of failing to do so, but having fun. And my takeaway was I would play a starter set of it, and I would buy one, and I would play it.
Nice.